Sairam, everyone. I wish you all a very auspicious Deepavali. I think today and tomorrow, I think is being celebrated. Just to recollect where we were last week, I think we were in the grip of Maya. We were discussing Maya and how the Lord says, whoever is attached to me will not be affected by Maya. I think these are some of the concepts which we discussed. So I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off.
Sairam, we read this and we didn't talk about it, so I'll reread it. To believe that the universal, which is you, is limited and subject to all these anatmic characteristics, that is Maya. But remember, Maya dare not approach anyone who has taken refuge in me. For those who fix their attention on Maya, it operates as a vast oceanic obstacle. But for those who fix their attention on God, Maya will present itself as Madhava, God. The hurdle of Maya can be crossed either by developing the attitude of oneness with the infinite God or the attitude of complete surrender to the Lord. The first is called Jnana Yoga. The second is named Bhakti Yoga. All men do not get the inner prompting to conquer Maya by surrendering their all to the Lord. It depends on the merit or demerit accumulated during many births. Those who have only demerit as their earnings will pursue the fleeting pleasures of these senses. Like the birds and the beasts, they revel in food and frolic. They take these as the purpose of life. They do not entertain any thoughts of God. They dislike the company of the virtuous and the good. They stray away from good acts. They become outlaws from the realm of God.
Thank you, Sister Karmuda. I think we have been discussing Maya, so there's nothing which I would like to highlight here. I will open it up for any comments others will have. I think Swami is distinguishing between our attention on God versus the attention on Maya. And that makes all the difference. So I will just stop there and I will ask if anyone has something to say. Saira.
So, Sairam, brother,
Yes.
the last class we talked about the Maya, how we trapped into that. So here the answer is there because of the merit and demerit. We have gone through so many births, and Sister Narmada also mentioned about so many births. That is the reason we were caught into the Maya. So we don't know how many births, how many, So finally we took the good birth. So this one also is not going to be the end until we achieve our goal. So it's all come under the merit and demerit. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Sairam, brother, thank you. Anyone else has something?
Sairam,
Sairam, auntie.
I pointed out last time that it is Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, it is written here. It's Gnana Marga and Bhakti Marga Swami has given in Telugu. So does it, I think it makes a difference between yoga and Gnana Marga and Gnana Yoga. Does it make any difference?
I think I think Swami has used the word marga. I think he just wants to highlight the path more than the yoga, which is the ultimate goal of that. I would say. I think that's the way I understand.
Yeah.
When the ultimate goal is the jnana yoga, that is merging with the Lord, through either bhakti or jnana.
Gnana.
I think so. I think we can go with the marga as the
Marga.
path. I think path. Thank you, Auntie. Others have something to say?
I guess whenever Swami is saying anatma, I guess he's not talking about the highest level where everything is atma, right? Is it he's just talking about like at a lower level, like our transactional level?
I think my understanding is that when Swami says anatmik, that which does not change. Atmik is that which does not change,
Right.
which is eternal. Whatever is anatmik, you will see changes happening. It will never remain the same. I think that's the way I understand. Whatever undergoes change, it's anatma.
Anatma.
I think in Geetha, this 24 tattvas Swami always talks about in Sankhya Yoga. The 5 koshas, 5 pranas, the 5
Sensor.
sheaths, 5 sensory organs, and the mind, the 4 manas, buddhi, chitta, mahankara. All these call under anatmic categories. The atma is that which is beyond that.
Yeah.
So that which is beyond does not undergo any change. What is anatmic is creation, the way I understand. But I will ask others to comment.
Whatever is objectified, whatever we see as an object, it is anatma. That's what Bhagavad Gita also says the same. So the whole universe, the manifestation of all this, and even our own body, sense organs, organs of motor organs, everything is, you can objectify them. So that is anatma. And Bhagavan Paramatma is the only atma.
Auntie, that way can we say like until you see duality is anatmic. When you see the oneness, then it comes anatmic.
Yeah. That's the first stage.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
see duality. Sairam.
Yes, Dharmata.
Oh, you're on
I
mute.
think you're unmute.
Sorry. I just have a question with the second paragraph. We say that in order to conquer Maya, the ones with the demerit accumulated will be able to demerit accumulated will not be, because they'll be kind of into Maya, right? So here the merit and demerit is the karma that you accumulate, correct? So in order to, my understanding, maybe I'm wrong, I just need clarification, because even if you have merit or demerit, both are karma. You have to use both in order to reach God, right? You need to have 0. That's how, if you're adding points, I think positive points and negative points, you need to have 0 points, sort of. That is the full surrender, correct? So here Swami says the demerit as their earning will pursue fleeting pleasures. Does that mean if you have merit, you won't be yearning for positive, yearning for these fleeting pleasures? Or how do you, I'm trying to understand that.
So just to rephrase, just let me say, what you're saying is, if ultimately, if we are going to overcome Maya, both merits and demerits should not exist.
That's my understanding.
Yes.
Correct.
So how was merit helping us in this process? I think is the question you have. Okay.
Right.
So I will just open it up for comments from others as well. Thank you.
So, Sairam, brother. So,
Yes.
so when you have good merits, then you are going closer to the God. Then when you surrender to the God, He can put it those one demerit and merits to ashes once you achieve the devotion. That is my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
So,
yes, Irams.
yeah. So it is like when we take the Yajna Kundam, we have 3 steps. We have the 3 steps can symbolize tamas, rajas, sattva, and then the fire into which we put the ahuti. So when we say about demerits and merits, I'm just aligning it with something like demerit points maybe having us more in the realm of tamas and rajas, because the more demerits we have, the more of effort is needed to conquer tamas and rajas. And the more of merits we have, it is like in terms of, I'm not saying just because one is meritorious, the next birth also they will be good, but at least the propensity to stay on good will be there. So it is more like remaining in the sattva realm. But ultimately, sister, like you mentioned, the balance sheet has to be no credit, no debit. It has to be at 0, only then we are out of the game. But in terms of the merits, they are closer like the sattva to the fire, or the last step. They are more closer. So in terms of traversing from demerits, it traverses through merits to ultimately becoming beyond demerits or merits. So since the journey of going out of that balance sheet of having no points involves a transition from demerits to merits to becoming beyond that, merits become a prerequisite in that path. I hope it's clear, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to comment on that? Yeah, just to elaborate, I mean, just to echo what Sai Satish said, Atman is also called Shuddha Sattva, in the sense that is pure Sattva. Okay, and so the Sattvic qualities are closer in terms of our journey to that state. So the thing is, from you overcome tamas through rajas, then you overcome rajas through sattva, and then you are able to step into that Shuddha Sattva state. So it is just a step which takes us there. I think in the Geetha, I think earlier in the Geetha Vahini also Swami has said, Arjuna was engrossed in tamas. So he wakes him up by, calling him so that his Kshatriya blood boils and he wakes up from that tamas. And then once he wakes up into that tamas, then Krishna teaches him sattvic qualities. So it's the same, it's a step-by-step process. Ultimately, yes, you overcome that, but sattva helps you overcome rajas. Rajas helps you overcome tamas. So dushkritam, I think Swami has used the word sukritam and dushkritam, I think. So good qualities come from sattvic qualities. And that means that you are sort of progressing towards, closer to that state of Atman.
Sukritam and Dukritam were the words for merit and demerit?
Yes. Auntie is, that's right, no, Auntie? Vari Vari Janmantara Sukrita.
Yeah. Janmantara Sukruta ఎట్టి ఉండను వారి వారి జన్మాంతర సుకృత దుష్కృతములను బట్టి ఉండును. దుష్కృతములు కేవలము భోగలాలసై క్షణానందమునకు ప్రాకులాడుచుండురు. పశుపక్షి మృగముల వలె తిని తిరుగుచు తాత్కాలిక ఆనందములతో తందనాలాడుచుందరు. ఇట్టిదే జీవిత లక్ష్యమని భావించి దైవ చింతయే లేక సత్సంగమున్న అసఖ్యించుకొనుచు సదాచారమున్న గిట్టని వారై పట్టి భ్రష్టులగుచుందరు. They become outlaws from the realm of God.
Sorry, I'm sorry. One more question. Sorry. So, in other words, if you have merit or the positive karma in you, you are still in the midst of the duality or that Maya, right? Because you still have the feeling the body is I kind of understanding, right? Until you get rid of that, you are not one with God. So you are still within the Maya, but you are able to conquer Maya because you are very close to Swami. Can you take it that way? Right? So you just not the demerits are going to be frolicking. Even if you have the merits also, you'll be there, but you are more closer to Swami, correct?
Yes. See, it is also, I think, you have to know who you are. Even in a mirror, if you want to look at yourself, when it's dark, you can't look at yourself even in the mirror and know who you are. Ultimately, you want to look at yourself. The darkness will not help. But you switch on the light, anything which is brighter will allow you to see who yourself in the mirror. So to seek anything, the light is necessary, and Sattva stands for light. So anyone who travels from darkness to light will be able to see themselves also, or see things clearly. But it is light, that is not the purpose. That Sukritam allows you to see for yourself. But once you see yourself, you don't need the light after that. Once you have sought what you want to find, then you don't need it. You have found whatever you need to. I think it's just that kind of thing. And I just wanted to clarify, I know the word outlaw, brashta that's the best you can translate. I don't know whether that's basically someone who is disqualified from a state, something of that sort is a better way to say, I think. Like yoga brashta means one who advances in yoga, then suddenly is fallen from that higher state, becomes a brashta, with some defects. I think that's outlaw seems to be a way, I don't know what meanings you will understand from that.
Sukrita means like good act, or does it mean the merit, which is like the fruit of the good act?
The good act, actually, yeah. So that's why the word merit means you think the result of something, isn't it? Is that what you are asking, Liane?
Yes. So it actually just means act, good act.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Sukrutam and Dushkrutam have been translated as merit and demerit.
Yes.
Kritam means what you have done. Dushkrutam, Sukrutam, that's it.
Auntie, so that way when you say paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, so that way whoever has done the wrong actions. So
wrong action, yeah. Actually, Vinashaya Duskrutam, they're not totally, Bhagavan is not totally eliminating them from this world, but he's trying to correct them in the way what they have gone is wrong. So he's bringing back to them in the right path. That's how we can take it. Vinashaya.
So he destroys the bad qualities, not the person.
Not the person. That's it. Always they say, that we have to, when a person does bad things, you don't like the sin which is done by him, but not the person. But it is very difficult to differentiate a sinner as the person who has done it. That's it. We don't separate sin and the person.
And I think those yugas, it was easier. If it was Treta or Dwapara, you could say that, okay, this person is the sinner or the thing. In Kali Yuga, it's very difficult. It's a combo package. So
You can never separate them.
yeah.
So I'm suggesting the God's job also has become a bit more difficult now, complex.
Definitely, Anna. Yeah. I was thinking only we innovate, but it looks like we have forced God to innovate as well.
I think if everyone is okay, maybe we can move on.
Yeah.
Diane, you have some question?
One other thing about, so in I think Sandhya Nivarini, like Swami had said, oh, there's even Atma even in a dead body. So is it just that when you saw me saying anatma, like actually everything is Atma? Is it? Or?
Yeah, so I think your question is if the jada with jada, which is inert, that also has Atman. I think that's the question you're asking. Yes. So I think in this world there is what I call Chetana, Achetana. Chetana means that which has the ability of sentience. It can, it has ability to perceive. Then there are things which cannot perceive. They do not perceive. They have Achetana. But Swami will say everything is pervaded by Atma. Even the Achetana, for it to exist as is, the Atma is the foundation. So the Atma is present there also. It's that it becomes much more complex. Chetana, it becomes much more complex to differentiate which is exactly, because the mind, buddhi function as if they have some Chetana Shakti, that they are able to grasp and process information. But the reality is the Vijnanamaya Kosho, that ability to chit is the one which makes it available. But then what happens in the inert subject, inert object? Where is the chit? That's the question. Second question we'll ask. That is dormant state. That is, it's in a dormant state. It is not active. That's the theory of what is Chaitanya. But Atman has to be there for it to even exist. Because even if you look at the molecular structure, the molecular energy is nothing but Atman. Because if for two atoms to come together, there is some power which holds it all together. That is Atman. That is the way the rishis have viewed it. And
sorry. Please go ahead.
And the thing is, in creation, even the sentient beings come from the insentient. You are born as a stone. You become the soil. Then you grow. So in the case of evolution in the Sanatana Dharma, everything which is created goes from that state to ultimate state. So we are born as, even if you say even an embryo, when it's formed, they will say it does not have, it doesn't have life of its own. And then it becomes life, it forms the limbs and all that. So actually that itself is evolution, which we see in a birth of a child. So that insentient thing is also one of the stages of creation and evolution. So that is the belief. Okay.
Yeah.
So Saira Mandi, please go ahead.
I came across a very interesting difference between Chaitanya and Chetana.
Okay.
Chetana means the one which has got movement. We are all Chaitanya plus Chetana because we are mobile. Whereas a tree has Chaitanya, but it cannot move. And a stone has Chaitanya, but it doesn't move. So the difference was pointed out by one of our Samaveda Shanmugha Sharma. I thought I should share it with you. It's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, it's all part of evolution. You first, in Tamil, they will say, Pullai, Pudai, Pulvai, Manamai, Kallahi. Like, even you become a stone also, from that is how every creation takes place.
Yeah.
So that's all part of the
Anna, just adding to your thing, there is that one incident where a bunch of saris comes to Swami, and Swami takes around 7 or 8 of them, and 2 or 3 of the saris are left behind. And after some time, somebody sees those 2-3 saris are wet, and then they tell Swami that it is wet, and Swami says, yes, they are crying because I didn't pick them up.
Yeah.
So that clearly shows at what level Chaitanya really exists. So
yeah, it's, I think in the same context, Swami is talking about, Swami is telling trees, and many people say if you eat vegetarian, you are eating plants, but don't the plants feel hurt? That's the question, because you cut the plant, it bleeds, there's something oozes out. So what Swami says is that the mind aspect is not there in a tree, but it has natural reactions which happens when it is cut or something like that. Because the mind and the negative feelings do not exist in a plant, it is okay to eat a plant because it will not have a negative impact in your own mental sphere. Whereas if you, an animal, they have the fear and they have certain negative emotions which well up in them, and because of that they become asattvic for anyone to eat. So it's all gradation of the evolution of how each grows. Even though the sentient insect, as you said, saris also can have some sort of reaction at some level, but it may not be so mental, but they have a reaction. They can have even any object. So I think that's one of the reason in Sanatana Dharma tradition, you treat everything as divine. You pray to that also because you think there is divinity present. The stone idols are stones, but that stone has the ability to project Atman, because Atman is present there also. So those are some.
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead. Sairam Narmada.
On the other hand, those who have earned merit strive to grow in virtue, in uplifting thoughts, in the contemplation of the divine presence, and they yearn for the Lord. Seekers such as these may be drawn to the Lord through suffering, or want, or the thirst of knowledge, or keenness to acquire wisdom. But the fact that they turn towards the Lord for relief shows that they have grown into the higher path through many births. The Gita does not approve sakama karmas, acts done with intention to benefit therefrom, or with the result as the prime motive. It is only nishkama karma, acts done without being concerned with the benefit that may accrue, that will free you from delusion.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the
Yes,
Telugu, I
yes,
think
Auntie.
Swami
Please
has,
read. Yeah.
Swami has mentioned about Arthulu, Jignasulu,
Yes.
Artharthulu. He has mentioned all this in the
Yes.
same paragraph. But in translation, it doesn't appear.
I know they have not mentioned the Sanskrit terms. So basically, Swami is there are 4 types of bhaktas: Arthi, Artharthi, Jignasu, and
Gnani.
Jnani. So Swami is mentioning the first 3 at least in here, as we can see.
Yeah.
The Arthi, Artharthi, and Jignasu. So even the reasons why we reach God, we look for God.
Yeah.
Or, reach out for His help. Swami says even to get to that point, we need to have done some good merits. Even when we are difficult to seek out God. Thank you, Auntie.
Okay.
So Swami is introducing the Sakama and Nishkama.
Mm.
That is, with desire, without desire for the fruits.
Brother, just a question. I don't know why it's coming to my mind. The jagnas, what is that? What is this concerned?
Yagnas.
Thank you.
So I think sister's question is, if I understand, so do the yajnas fall under Sakama or Nishkama? I think that's the question which she's asking.
Yes.
So I will all see what others feel. Where does the yajnas fall?
I have a question, and in addition to the yagna, I guess it comes in the same route. I was also thinking. So, if we think if you're doing good deeds, let's say, doing, Narayana Seva, for example, and things like that, just to put a thing. So, if you're doing Narayana Seva, saying that and hoping that this will get you closer to God, that is still Takama karma, right? If you're saying you're doing
good.
service, and I'm in hopes of getting closer to God, so that is again expecting a benefit out of it, correct?
Yeah, okay, good question. So I think there are 2 questions. One is, where does yajna fall, and where does all good acts, activities or actions with the view of attaining God, so do they fall under Sakama? I think that those are the 2 questions. So I will ask others to share what you think.
Brother, one thing I can say, whatever the action we are doing to get closer to the God, I will say Niskama Karma, whatever we are doing. But Jagna part only, I'm just concerned. Thank you. Sarah.
Saira.
Regarding
Auntie,
the
yes.
regarding the yagna part, there are yagnas which were done with sakama, with a desire. For example, Dasharatha did that yaga, Putra Kameshti. Yeah, Putra Kameshti. He wanted sons. So it was a sakama karma, sakama yagna. Whereas in other places, when yagnas are conducted for the general welfare or for the rains to come, so they all come under nishkama karma, I feel. But even though there is good in it, there is some goal in it, it is for the sake of the general welfare of the world. I think so.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Sai Satish.
Yeah. So just adding to what Auntie was saying, so Swami would generally say in the discourses that every time the yajna is done, all of the chants that go with it, you have the smoke come off that. That smoke with the vibration goes into the atmosphere, becomes clouds, and then that those clouds come back as rain, and that rain goes to make the crops and the food that we eat as such. So in general, the overall thing of, even when we do yajna, uh, one, both, whether it is sakama or nishkama, in general, the thing of yajna by itself, it brings about that welfare. But the highest one would be for, like what Auntie was mentioning, for lokakshemam. If we are doing it for the welfare of the world, then that is on a much broader level, and it's tending, of course, that also is like, to become one with God is also a desire, but that desire is helping us become desireless. So in terms of yajnas, in the broader realm of being for lokakshemam, lokakalyanam, it takes us away from the self and connects us to the bigger I. So that way it's a transition from sakama to nishkama. It's like a transition, and ultimately, if it is done with keeping only Swami in mind, it can really go to that state of being nishkama. Saira.
Thank you very much. Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, so, Sairam brother. So whether we do the jhana or we ask God whatever we want, God is prepared to give anything through yoga, or you asking something. He is very kind of us. So when you ask worldly thing, you have to go through the difficulties. So anything, when we do the Narayana Seva, if we do the purpose, if we want to get good name or something like that, that is goal. That is not come under the niskama karma. You have to think, I am doing God's will, I am doing God's work. If we do any work, any karma, if we think like that, I am just an instrument of God's hand, then all come under niskama karma, then you are going closer to the God. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else has something to say? It's okay. Anyway, I think I think between Auntie and Sai Satish, they've covered the questions amply. I think I'll try to summarize in different words. The Purusharthas, I thought I will bring Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Swami always says the Kama has to be for Moksha. The desire, if human beings have desires, but the ultimate desire should be for liberation, to be overcoming the worldly bondage. Okay. So karma for moksha is a good karma, even if it is a karma. So I think I will just address what Narmada said. So as long as the karma is for moksha, we are okay. If karma for artha or the world, then I think it's a problem, because it will hold us down. So I think that's the first thing. That I think it sort of comes, already we have discussed about going towards sattva. So any sattvic desires are better than tamasic desires or rajasic desires. So I think from that sense, so in the hierarchy of sukritam, dushkritam, that those become good. The concept of yajna is, it's all coming from the Vedas, karma kanda. So the karma, the Vedas outline all the actions which human beings can do, should do. They all fall under the word karma. As Auntie has already said, the karmas can be for selfish interests or selfless interests. Both the karmas are prevalent in the yajnas. So any action can be selfish or selfless. So that all, the selfishness or selflessness is what makes the quality of the karma better. So the more selfless the desire with which we are selflessness, desire for selfless objectives are beneficial to the world. at large. So yajnas which fall under are considered superior, or they are closer to what God wants us to do. And the ultimate one is nishkama karma, is total surrender, in the sense we, even the fruits of what we are going to gain from the yajna is also offered to the Lord. Yajno yajne, even the fruits of the yajna is also offered into the yajna. So if you read Suprapatham, at the end we will say Mangalam Gurudevaya, Mangalam Jnanadayini, means that whatever auspiciousness you got also you offer to the Lord. That's also one of the aspects. So you don't want anything. Total surrender. The Lord, it's all yours. Even my joy is also, I will offer it to you. That kind of a feeling we should develop. That's in the hierarchy of things. So yajnas can be, as Auntie has said, it can be for selfish reasons or selfish reasons. Swami always talks about Dasharatha, who did the Putra Kameshti yajna. See, when Dasharatha did the yajna, he had two desires. One is he wanted a son for himself, and he also wanted a son who will help the world, help the country. So, it was his desires were mixed up. So because of that, actually Rama was born, who still today also he stands as an example. At the same time, because he had that attachment that he should have a child, he became a victim. He died of separation. So it was a mixed type of yajna it became, and so we can see the result. So there was something which good came out of it, which is Rama. At the same time, the attachment also killed Dasharatha. So yajna can be having multiple levels of karma. The more selfless it is, the better it is for the welfare of the world. I hope.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sairam, brother, before we move on to the next one, is there any equivalent word for the Sahama and the Nishkama in Tamil? Any equivalent word?
Viruppatra, viruppam koodi, something like that you can say. That's the only thing which I can think of.
Is there any...
Asayudan, asayatra, that also you can say.
Suyannalamatra, Suyanalam Vendi.
So that becomes selfish, selfless.
Yeah. I know in both words the karma is there. Then the sa and the nish. I thought whether there is a special meaning in that one in the.
So my understanding, sister, such terms have been fully used in Tamil as is. Because that's a reality which very strong Tamilians, if they hear, they will not accept, because they will say, we have all the knowledge in Tamil. But the reality is, if you look back at the Nayanmars or the Alvars, they have used Sanskrit words, vocabulary in the regional languages. So that's a reality, because it's like if you say computer, of course you can come up with the translation and say call it Kanani, but the reality is that word came from so if you say oxygen, was there a Tamil word? I don't know.
Pranavayu.
Yeah.
Again, then prana is again become Sanskrit. Okay, so the thing is, knowledge gained in among people speaking using certain vocabulary, idiom, or you can see even jargon. This is spiritual jargon, was coined with a language like Sanskrit, which has the ability to coin such words the way it is developed as a language. So some of these terminology, we have to just accept them as they are. Like Atma, do you have a Tamil equivalent for that? They will say Anma. you know, because you make it fit the Tamil grammar, but there's no, you cannot come up with the word in Tamil. It was, you know, if at all it has been used, that's the way people have used. So I hope I do not offend the Tamil sentiments of people here, but that's reality.
Yeah, I have already known the Nishkama, but today first time I known about the Sahama. That's why I asked you whether there is any
So
special
yeah,
terminology.
so I don't think so, sister.
Thank you, brother. No problem.
Uncle, you had mentioned that in the Telugu, Swami is only mentioning 3 types of bhaktas, the Arti, Artharti, and the Jignasu. Is there a reason he doesn't mention Jnani?
Because Jnani is in the path of Jnana Yoga already.
Right, already achieved. Okay.
Yeah, so he's the fruit,
Mhm.
a ripe fruit. You know, I think that's maybe one of the reasons Swami has not mentioned. But I think, because to become Jnani, you should have become Arti, Artachi, or Jignasu. Only a Jignasu becomes a Jnani, because Jignasu is looking for knowledge. And Jnani says, Auntie, please go ahead.
Keenness to, here it is written, you know,
Yes.
thirst for knowledge or keenness to acquire wisdom. In that may be translated as jignasu, isn't it?
Yes, Auntie.
Through suffering, those who go to seekers are arti.
Arti. If everyone is okay, can we move on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, a doubt may arise about the Artha Bhakta, the one who turns to the Lord to relieve his suffering.
Oh.
The question may be raised whether such a person can be called a Bhakta. There's no single person on earth who is free from some want or other. Each depends on someone or other to fulfill his wants, is it not? Now, to have such wants relating to objects, is itself wrong. And to lean on a man like oneself to fulfill them is an even greater wrong. The Artha Bhakta turns not to man, but to the Lord, whom he trusts and reveres. He implores him only to fulfill them. Though it is wrong to cultivate wants, he avoids the greater wrong of putting trust on inferior instruments. So he is superior, is it not? The superiority of this attitude can be seen when you know that it is not what you want that is important, but whom you ask for its fulfillment. The goal is the Lord. He is the giver. His grace alone can confer boons. When this faith is fixed, you can be certain that the Artha Bhakta is really worthy.
Thank you very much, sister. So I think there's nothing for me to add to this. If anyone has something to, some comments to share, please do so.
Swami is approving even Artha Bhakta as real worthy. But he turns to the Lord instead of depending on others to relieve him from his suffering. He has great faith in the Lord, so he is also a good Bhakta. Saira.
Sairam, thank you, Auntie.
Is it always a progression, like from Arti to Artharti to Jignasu to Jnana? Is it always like a progression like that?
I think so. That's my understanding, but I will ask others to share. Actually,
The-
Swami, yes,
Ah,
Aunty, please go ahead.
please go ahead. Please go ahead. Arun, please go.
No, I just wanted to mention that Swami has used the word sakama buddhi
Mhm.
in the so buddhi which has desire. That's the way Swami has used the word sakama. I just thought to a point.
No, I was Artharthi is the one who approaches the Lord for his wealth. Artharthi.
Yes.
Where does in the English does that come, the Sakama Buddhi?
Okay, so
Hmm?
actually
Yeah.
it's in the previous slides actually.
Oh.
If you just go back, Pai
Gita-
Vidamuga
Ah,
Sadhana Auntie, is it Denini Ashrayanchi Tharinchi?
what నిమిషం?
Or maybe I've just gone too far ahead, it looks like.
Yeah, looks like.
Sorry, Kalyani, I think I just overshot myself.
Oh, no. I don't think it's here.
It's further ahead, Kalyani. I'm sorry about it.
Just a question about this general idea that Swami is speaking about here. Like, for example, if you are sick and you want to get better, so you could either, go to a doctor and get medicine and get better, but you could also maybe just ask God to cure you. And is so Swami saying that it's better to just ask God for that, or because it also sometimes, God has created the medicine and the doctor and everything as well. So
Okay, so Kalyani is asking a question. She being a doctor doesn't know whether people should not come to her.
It is not. It's not physical suffering. I don't think so. It is something, mentally a person is going through a lot of. That such person will definitely turn to the Lord instead of. Yeah. Of course, medicine is necessary and doctors are necessary.
Yes, brother Dasan,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sairam, brother. So, according to Swami's saying, Artha, Arthati, Jignasi, so the people who were suffering from cure, they they beg for God, please cure me. They may go to the doctor. Eventually, if the doctors cannot do anything, and end of the day, they're going to pray the God. And second one, the people ask for the wealth. It could be education, it could be money or anything. Lord is going to give that one. Third one, Jignasi, they ask for the knowledge. So that even though they are not depending on the people, at least they are going to the God and asking help. They are come under devotee of the God. The fourth one is Jnani. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much.
Sairam, for Sister Kalyani's question, Swami believed in not only God but also other things too. That's why he also had the hospital and other facilities too. That's why I firmly believe and agree with Mani Auntie's point on that one. The doctors are important and the hospitals or the are very important, but they have to have faith in God too to achieve or to get the things permanently. Maybe the external medicines, maybe it could be temporary too to kill the pain and those things, but to get a permanent relief from the pain, they need the strong faith in God. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. I think yes.
And I was just going to just say one line that we know that doctors treat, but God cures. So we know where it goes there.
Okay, thank you.
The excellent point, Brother Sai said is doctors treat and the God cures. Absolutely. Thank you.
I think Kalyani, I think this paragraph, what we are reading only in Telugu, Swami says, Deenini patti Arjunudu Sakama Buddhi Kalavadu Kada. Auntie, that's the way the paragraph starts, no, Auntie? I think you are muted, Auntie.
You want me to read that?
Yeah, so the first line is not translated here, no, Auntie? Swami says, Deenini patti
Arjunudu Sakama Buddhi Kalavadu Kada. అతనిని భక్తుడని గీత ఏ విధముగా ఒప్పుకొనును అని కొందరు శంకించవచ్చును. They may doubt whether Arjuna is a proper candidate to be called as bhakta.
So this is what I was referring to, Kalyani. Swami is telling I don't know how those two lines are not translated. Swami says, considering what has already been stated, Deenini patti, Swami says, Arjunudu Sakama Buddhi Kalavadu Kada. Arjuna himself had his buddhi was with desire. And how can he be called a devotee? Okay, and some people may have a doubt. Okay, so then Swami goes, Kani, Auntie, please, why don't we just read the Telugu, I think.
Kani, ఏదో ఒక విధమైన కోర్కె లేని వారు లోకమున ఎక్కడ ఏ ఒక్కడు కనిపించడు. Nobody is without a desire. వారి వారి అభిష్టములను తీర్చుకొను నిమిత్తమై లోకమున ఎవరినో ఒకరిని ఆశ్రయిస్తారు కదా. They depend on others to satisfy their wishes. అసలు కోర్కెలు ఉండుటే ఒక తప్పు. The first mistake is to have wants. అట్టి సమయమున భగవంతుని మరచి సామాన్యమైన తోటి మానవుని ఆశ్రయించటము మరొక్క తప్పు. First of all, it is wrong to have a want, and secondly, depending on somebody is another mistake. అయితే భక్తుడు అటులు కాక తాను విశ్వసించిన ఆరాధించుచున్న భగవంతుని తన అభిష్టములు నెరవేర్చమని అర్థించును, ఆశ్రయించును. Paragraph ends.
Okay, thank you, Auntie.
You have to translate them fully, I think.
So I think the translation is pretty okay. So, we should not ask people who are common people to fulfill our desires. Swami says the devotee has to look to the Lord whom he worships and prays to for fulfilling their abhishta, means for their fulfilling their desires, wants. I think now to have some.
Brother, you have mentioned about something Arjuna's desire, something Swami had said about.
No, the first line, Auntie. Now a doubt may arise about Artha Bhakta. In the Telugu, Swami starts this paragraph saying, Arjuna had desires. How can he, people may think, how can he be considered a devotee? Then Swami goes on to say,
what is that Swami is referring as a desire here?
Because Arjuna wanted this so that, he always had some desire. He was suffering, no? See, at the battlefront, he was The attachment was causing him pain. He was crying. So he was going through some mental suffering. Okay, and he wanted some solution. But then he asked the Lord. So that's what Swami is saying. So he falls under the Arti category.
Okay.
Was, so how can he be called a devotee? Some people may have doubt. And then Swami says, in this world, everyone has some problem or other, but they depend on others rather than depending on God. And that is what makes the difference, the bhakta. So I think Kalyani's question was, shouldn't we go to somebody for help, a doctor for a cure or anything like that? I think that's okay. They are human nature. But if they want to become a bhakta, then they should reach out to the Lord. See, because this is a question which was asked to Swami. Some people say, Swami, when you are there, why do we need hospital? Okay, it was a question asked of Swami. Then Swami said, see, look here, there are many people who have faith in the hospital more than me. So for them, the hospital is needed. So here Swami is talking about how do we become bhaktas? See, it is for us to realize whether we are bhaktas or not. We are artha bhakta or not. I think Brother Dasan said, even if we reach out in the worldly sense, we should always seek God's help. I think that's what Brother Dasan was saying. So I think then that we are in the mixed mode. We ask the world for help, at the same time we pray to the Lord to work through the people whom we are trying to ask. I think that's second stage, and the ultimate stage is they don't worry about anything, they just ask the Lord. Like people like Prahalada, people like Meera, they never ask somebody else's help. When they face suffering, they just turn to God. It may seem very impractical, that's not the realistic way of life, but then that's why they are called great devotees. So Swami here is saying, if you want to be a devotee, Artha Bhakta, turn to God for everything. Don't ask human beings. There are people who will say, I want only vibhuti from Swami, I won't take medicine. There are people, so they are totally, they will say, I will suffer, we will suffer until the Lord intervenes. So then, I think Swami is saying this so that we can evaluate for ourselves whether we are arthas, no doubt, we are suffering, but are we artha bhakta? So I think that's the question. Overnight we may not become that, but until then we cannot call ourselves devotees. We are trying to become devotees. I think that's the sense I get. So nothing wrong with asking, but then we are just like anyone else. We have not yet become that much staunch in our faith in the Lord. The whole problem is, it's like Draupadi calling out to everyone for, justice, and at the end she realized no one is about to help. And she called out to Krishna. Even when she was calling out to Krishna, then she was relying on her own strength. Then Krishna waited, unless the total surrender comes, he does not intervene. And so I think that is life. I hope Kalyani.
Yeah. So that means, wow, that's a big, even to be an arti is such a big, step. So because I'm always get a bit confused at this parable. I think it's just like a Western parable about the man who, there was a flood and he was standing on the roof of his house, and then he was praying to God to save him from the flood. And then a boat came by and he said, no, God will save me. And then some other boat came by and he said, no, God will save me. And some helicopter came by and again he refused. Then finally he died and went to heaven. And then he asked God, why didn't you save me? And God said, oh, I sent all these people to save you. So that's where I get confused.
No, so that's a parable, I think, fabricated by human beings. But the real thing is he went to heaven.
That's a good point.
So God actually came to his help. That's the way I look at it. why do you want to be saved? You would rather be in heaven.
That's true.
So God has come to his rescue, but I don't think people realize it. Even the people who are telling the parable don't realize this. I was listening and I said, oh, the fellow got what he wanted.
Wow, that's great. That's crazy. So to be a real devotee, like you have to just like not even rely on healthcare or anything, like just totally rely on the Lord. And
I mean, the faith should be, and the help may come. But the thing is, the faith should be there. So I think in the parable you gave, I said, the fellow is good choice. If a boat came, he would have gone to the fellow who is, driving the boat, and his home, he will go and land and eat what he have given. Now he is in heaven. He is having the best of everything. Yes, Brother Rasa.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So I like to add one more point, brother, through some experiences. If you have to go through a surgery or if you want to take a medication, just take it and by the name of the God. For an example, this happened to one of my friends. He has to go for the surgery, and the day before, in the morning, just before the surgery, they want to take an X-ray. He suddenly disappeared. So God can do some miracle, or God can help him to successful surgery. And it's all you have to have faith and follow the tradition. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So what you're saying is you leave it in the hands of God. You do what normally people do,
Yes.
but don't be affected by what happens.
Yes.
Just hold on to God firmly.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, that is right.
Sairam.
Sairam, auntie. Yes, auntie, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I had an experience once I was driving and then taking a left turn. In the meantime, a truck, which was the next lane, cut through and hit my car, and it was there was a bad damage to my car, and he just fled. So I didn't know what to do. I said, Sairam, Sairam. And then all the vehicles were passing. Nobody stopped the car. But suddenly, one car stopped. And then it was a lady. She came up to me. And then, of course, in my car, I was playing Swami's bhajan. So she came up to me and asked me, are you a Sai devotee? Because I can hear bhajans. I said, yes. And I said, I'm just calling to the Lord because I have no help. So she said, don't worry. I'm also a Sai devotee. I will help you. And I didn't have a cell phone. I usually don't carry a cell phone. So she said, don't worry. You can use my cell phone and call one of your relatives. And then she helped me she gave me the confidence and she helped me a lot. So I thought it was Swami who sent her to help me. So that was, instead of looking for help from others, if you call to the Lord, He'll always help you.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Yes, Sister Ananthi.
I was a little confused when I look at this paragraph earlier, and I thought that in order to fit into a devotee category, we have to go through Arti, Athati, and Jignasu. Only we pass through these 3 stages, then only we fit into the devotee category. That's why even though in every communication we say, dear Sai devotees, so we are maybe truly speaking, we are not in that category at all. We have to work, or we have to take maybe even a couple of births to fit into that category. And the other thing, if a little boy or girl, if they feel hungry, to whom they will ask? The mother or the whoever the guardian taking care of them. So if that is the case, here it says that if we have a pain or suffering for the little boy or girl, their suffering is hunger. When they are hungry, they will call their parents, I feel hungry, please give me something. So in that case, they have to pray a lot to bring the food, or they will approach the parents to give them the food. I believe it could be depending on maybe the stage of the person, or maybe a little more clarification on this one. I'm little confused. But
how about Trinjana Sambandar auntie? He prayed to God came and gave him, right? So, no, just
thank you.
So, sister, I think Sister Narmada has already answered the question. So, as a child which has over a long period of time, when they have come to a certain stage of devotion, even as children, they only call out to the Lord. Trinjana Sambandar, Prahlada, Dhruva, there are so many names. Then, even they say Palak, Palahan, Patkadal in the Piran, like that, apparently, and the Lord Vishnu gave you the entire milky ocean when a child wanted milk. So the thing is, I think it's if a person who is a bit more mature in devotion, when they're born, when they're small, at young stages, they will only call out to the Lord. So I think that you yourself answered the question which you posed, Sister Ananti. I don't know whether you realized.
Yeah, originally I had the question. Maybe when the discussion evolves, and maybe a couple of others, the brothers and sisters, when they throw the answers, I got that maybe in order to fit into that one, maybe several birds to evolve one into that stage. Maybe at that stage, maybe I understand that Trinjana Sambandar, even though he was 3-year-old, but maybe in he has been Jnana Palam maybe at that age of 3. That means that he has come to that stage. And Tirunavakarasar maybe he got that sort of stage in late 70s or 80s. So it depends on the person's this maturity in the spiritual, the ladder or spiritual stage.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Is everyone okay with this? It should be.
Uncle,
Yes.
just one other question, like, so part of this is also like doing your due diligence, or like doing your part, or doing your duty, kind of, right? Like, so say if your child is sick and you don't take them to the hospital, like you would be put in jail maybe, right? Because you didn't do your job. Or if somebody stole something from you, you didn't go to and report it to the police, that's also, you're not doing your, like, if so can we still fully be dependent on God and still, use the police service or use the healthcare service?
Very good question, Kalyani. So how do we practice this in the world? I think that's the question. So Kalyani is asking, and if we don't take our child to doctor, the law enforcement will find it an issue. I don't know what, the child services will take the child, and the parents will be, behind bars. I think that's Kalyani's question. So how do we address this? Do we seek the Lord, or do we do what we have to do in a worldly sense? I think that's a question. Yes, Brother Thasan.
So if your child is sick, definitely you have to do the traditional medicine, whatever you're supposed to do. You cannot, then you are just to pray, God, please, I gave this medicine, please, in your hand, please cure him faster. So other thing, the kids, if they want to have food, they have to depend on the parents. If the husband wants food, he can ask wife. If the husband is cooking food, the wife can ask the husband. If they don't have those kind of facilities, if they cannot afford to get a food, then that's the time, God, please help me. Someone will come in God's form and they will take care of them. So follow the tradition, whatever you're supposed to do. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Anyone has something to share on this?
Saramana. So it's basically at what stage we are in this journey. So if we look at Gora Kumbha, where being a potter, he lost his own child because he was in devotion to the Lord. Or earlier, when Anna also in another session mentioned about Jack, that dog that was with Bhagawan, it also met ultimately with from the worldly sense, a disastrous end when its back was broken and the car ran over it, though Swami had sent it on a duty. So I'm just trying to put it that at what stage we are in terms of both doing the action and accepting the consequences of that action. So we may do something and say, oh, we have left it to Bhagavan. But tomorrow, when the consequences of that action come back, are we with the same, even if the law authorities enforce their actions or something else happens, are we ready to accept the consequences of that action with the same equanimity of mind that we had when we executed the action, is what we have to take into account. So at this point in time, if you are in primary school, we do what is relevant for the primary school syllabus. If you are in secondary, we do for that syllabus. Likewise, if you are in tertiary or university level, we follow that syllabus. So depending on the stage that we are in, we should be ready to know that, yes, at this point in time, if it affects our child or our family, we have the medical system, we go there, we pray to Swami and we pray to the Swami in the doctor as well. That is what I would do at this level. At what stage I am in. Maybe if I keep doing this to a level where it becomes so intense, down the line, it can be that anything happens like what happened to either Prahalada or somebody else. We just leave it to Bhagavan and say, Swami, you will take care. And I accept whatever happens even after that. If that is your will, I accept that will. So it is about to what extent we go down that path in not only executing that action, but accepting the consequences of the action that follow. Saira.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Thank you. Sister Aruna?
Yes, Sai Ram, brother. Whatever Brother Sai Satish mentioned, like accepting the consequences of action, that is what really we have to see it, because like what Kalyan is saying, if something we didn't do and there is a kind of law actions or somebody come and arrest and all kind of things, that's also we have to accept. If we are going to that, also you have to take it as the it comes from your faith. So I think the ultimate, the bottom line of this, what you are making the decision on based on your faith. If you have that faith, anything comes along that way, whatever the decision you are making, you will accept. So that also that is what we have to go through it in order to get to that whatever you wanted to have it. So it's ultimately it comes to the faith. That's what I will look at it. So and accept it, whatever it's come along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Yes, brothers.
Ganin here. Sarah.
Yes, yes.
I had a situation about a week ago that I had to attend to a member of my family and kind of collapsed. and I had to do CPR immediately. And since I was always praying to the Lord in every form, it just came to me naturally that I should do, and my fright wasn't there. And I was thinking, how can I be so strong when I should be calling for Bhagawan? And it didn't, it just, and then I said, there must be something wrong, but because I probably it was my nature to tell some mantras, Om Bhurбhuvah, or remember Swami, or I wash his feet before bed. So it kind of just came to me naturally. I don't think you can consciously do anything. It just happens. And it's so poetic. Everything went well. So I can't just say how I'm going to be next logically if you are really being in that mode. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much.
Sairam.
Sairam. Does anyone else have something to say? So Kalyani, I think Brother Ganendran, I think everyone nicely put points together. The reality is, see, some of this information is for us to evaluate where we are in our journey of growth. As Brother Ganen said, it has to be second nature, whatever we do. Even to seek God, it has to be second nature. And that doesn't happen overnight. It is not an intellectual exercise. It's that we intellectually analyze and say we can realize where we are in the stage of evolution. But ultimately, it has to be a natural, spontaneous thing that we ask God. Okay. The devotee who asks spontaneously, he is not worried about that it will even, he will not even doubt that it will fail, that God will not come to the rescue. When Draupadi left her hand and prayed, she did not have any doubt. So I don't know whether she went through an intellectual exercise. If I release my hand, if God doesn't help, then what happens to me? Then the rational mind has come into existence. But a devotee spontaneously, he doesn't even doubt that the God will not respond. So I think this kind of information is just for us to evaluate that we have to work harder, to become closer to the Lord, to pray. So as Brother Sai Satish said, where we are, if what we are doing, even let's pray to the Lord or pray to Swami to work through the person whom we are approaching. So that way we have not forgotten that the source of help is God. I think that is the step which most of us can easily practice. We can do what seems worldly, makes sense from worldly matter. If your child is sick, take the child to a doctor. But don't think that the doctor is going to cure. As Sai Satish already said, the doctor will treat, but you have to also request the Lord to cure. So I think we can do that. And until, as Brother Ganen said, when it's a spontaneous thing, you are not even thinking, you're not even analyzing, you just submit to the Lord and accept what happens. I think that's a path of progress. It's just like, if I'm just learning to drive a car, I can't think, how I will be a racing car driver, but I should know, to become a racing car driver, I have started learning. I need to practice. Over a period of time, I will get good at it. And then drive, you can drive at the speed which you have to drive, because you have developed and matured to that state. So I think all this information is for us to evaluate where we are and slowly move towards where we would like to be. And it's as organic, natural evolution and growth. When one day, we will not be thinking twice. We will not second guess whatever we are doing. I hope that answers your question. Actually, it's very practical. I think everyone contributed in many different ways, and so hopefully it helps us all to slowly mature from where we are to where we have to be.
Yes, thank you so much.
So it's 4:26. So time is up. But I think it was a wonderful discussion. We all artis and arthartis in some way, maybe jignasus to some extent. And Swami is helping us. We may have a long way to go, no problem. But at least we are on track. Working slowly, maybe chipping away slowly. And then that's
Swami also says, that Purusha Prayatnam undavala.
yes.
Purusha Prayatnam leka kadu. So Purusha Prayatnam is our attempt, our whatever we can do, we do. Then it is left to Swami. Okay.
So Sai Ram brother, finally I'd like to add one more thing. Swami asked someone to go somewhere, and when they're returning back, they met with the accident. So, but they were escaped from the accident. Then the devotees, they told the Swami, we are lucky because of you, we all saved. But Swami said, no, I didn't come. You are whatever the dharma you have done, whatever that good sadhana you have done in your life, dharma came and helped you. So even before you calling that God's help, you have to find out you have any balance in your account, because God is going to check your account before helping you. If you don't have the money in the account, it's very difficult. Thank you, Sai Ram.
So maybe we, others can lend us a little bit. Yes, Brother Ganendran, you want to say something?
Everything and reasons and our logic sounds very worldly, actually. We are still not away from the worldly things, since we are chasing the spirituality in its view. So we got to really try to, I feel that we should try to look into the abstract or the spiritual side of everything, not as just doing and rewards and stuff like that.
Thank you, brother.
Spirituality, that's my belief.
Okay, thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai
Ram, brother, can I say something to be
Yes, sister.
Yeah. Actually, I will say we all have good merit, because Swami picked and choose us as his devotees. So I want to have that good positive thought. Unless nobody won't be here. And we are spending this satsang with all of you. And today Diwali and tomorrow also Diwali. I want to thank you, all of you, for this knowledge. Without Swami's grace, none of us won't be here. So with this, I just want to thank you all again. Sai Ram. And I can keep on saying so many times in my life and my family's. I just want to share maybe one incident. Like one time the doctor was giving up on my health so much. I just prayed to Swami and I just said, you are him front of me and my sickness is you. In my body also you are here. So I just left everything and it's all turned out to be good at the end after the, what are the karma I had to go. So that's the way I look now, even though I don't talk too much. Thank you so much.
Sai Ram, sister.
Sai Ram. Happy Diwali to everyone.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Sai Ram.
It's 4:29. I think we can close with Samasta Loka and then meet next week. Okay, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Happy Diwali.